All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. I need to turn the light on. Okay, so I've been doing some research. Okay, if you saw the caption, um, we're talking about the Browns and tanking. So here's the chapter we're on. We're on sabotage, right? The public, players, and media podcasters all know that the Titans game, they were not trying to win. The players have said it. We need to prepare to win, which means they were not put in the best position to win, right? If you don't know, last year when Myles Garrett was there, the definitive leader of the team on defense had the same frustrations. The season ended like it is now, only winning 3 games. Myles Garrett said they weren't put in the best position to win. He wanted out. They threw money his way, made some promises. He stayed. It's deja vu. They're right back. He's 4 or 2 sacks away from the record, but everybody realizes the defense was lackluster versus the 49ers. The defense was, how should I say, the same lackluster versus the Titans. We pointed out how Myles Garrett only had 1 sack each. It's like he wasn't allowed to sack Brock Purdy or Cam Ward. What would have happened had Myles Garrett sacked Brock Purdy numerous times? Likely, with Shedeur standards at the helm, they would have won that game, the 49ers. What would have happened had Myles Garrett sacked Cam Ward 4 times? They would have won that game. And why didn't they win that game? Why did Stefanski not put the team in the best position to win? Because there's no debating that taking Shedeur out for these Wildcats, these failed Wildcats, there's no debating. That's not putting your team in the best position to win. Take Shedeur's name off the quarterback position and say it was any other quarterback that is skilled like he is, that amassed 393 yards, and you already had 1 failed Wildcat, and you have the opportunity to tie the game. You take out quarterback A, and y'all lose. You're not putting the team in the best position to win, and that overall is the problem. And the question is, how long has that been happening? Because first time, it's a mistake. If it's a repeated cycle, it's intentional. So people now can say it is sabotage. It is about sabotage because that's the chapter we're on. Now they're saying Browns did not want to win that game. How can you have the audacity to throw and lose a game after you only won 3 games last year? After you blamed Deshaun Watson for your abysmal year, but you forgot to add the asterisk, the footnote that says Deshaun Watson was injured in the 7th game of the season. There were still 10 games left. So you losing Deshaun was not a wash. But how did Deshaun get injured? When you look at all the dirt diving that took place by the O-line who was called out for cheating or just intentionally throwing a game, that was before the Titans game. And then you look at Kevin Stefanski personnel changes going to the lesser talented guys, bypassing the higher paid, more highly skilled players at the 2. Knowing that Kevin Stefanski has already had 9 to 10 offensive combinations already. You can't say it's due to their aging because you have younger talent. You brought in more experienced talent. You can't say you don't have the O-line. You do. You just keep manipulating the O-line to fail. You've already divided the locker room. Jerry Jeudy. Seemingly they're back on track, but I hope so. We'll have to see. So I have the O-line I'm manipulating. I have receivers I'm clearly manipulating because it's like a switch. So the sabotage that is confirmed, the losing of the Titans game is confirmed by way of manipulating the O-line. And Shedeur still overcame. in what's called an elimination game. Yes, the Titans game was an elimination game, and the media knew about it and didn't even discuss or celebrate with the fans that, hey, when Shedeur took over, he got us in the hunt. Hey, when we play the 49ers, if we win, we can move forward. Hey, when we move and play the Titans, we could win, we could move forward. No celebration. Proves that the media knew the Browns did not want to win the Titans game. And when you look at the fact that it was an elimination game and Stefanski took Shedeur out of an elimination game that he knew he could score, that wasn't the first time he did that. Remember this? Remember the Rams game? Took Shedeur out the 2-minute drill and put in Huntley, the player they knew they had already designated to be cut the next day before lunch. So why keep taking Shedeur out of the 2-minute drills? Because he can score. If Shedeur get 25 or more reps, he's going to get 2 touchdowns. The Panthers game. Shedeur only had about 25, 26 reps, 2 touchdowns. The Rams game took Shedeur out of the 2-minute drill. No different than the Wildcat. Still, you taking Shedeur out when the game is critical and he could score. That's the pattern. When the game is critical and we need to be eliminated or we need to eliminate somebody, you take Shedeur out the game so we don't win, or you take Shedeur out the game so he doesn't score. That's the pattern, and it's been there all the time since the Rams game. Why was the Rams game also an elimination game? It eliminated Shedeur from QB2 behind Flacco. I re-listened to the press conference with Mary Cabot asking Stefanski, who was pleased with the results of the Rams game, that he wasn't willing to speak on who was going to be QB2 behind Flacco. This game was the deciding factor to eliminate Shedeur, because after the Panthers game, Stefanski had little to say about Shedeur, whereas Canales, the Panthers head coach, volunteered how great Shedeur was, even spoke well of Huntley, but not Stefanski. He couldn't do that. But you know what he did say in a subsequent interview? Before the Rams game, we're going to have to put him down. Shedeur Sanders was the only quarterback in the Rams game sacked 5 times. So they put him down with sacks. We just saw the O-line get busted for dirt diving, trying to allow Shedeur to get what? Sacked. So Kevin Stefanski has a dirty little playbook to throw the games or eliminate Shedeur. It might not even have a name, but the play calling, the pattern is consistent. I need to eliminate Shedeur from moving and advancing and elevating, stay the QB2 behind Flacco, which is what it should have been. I'm going to take him out the game at the 2-minute drill in a decision-making game to determine his future. I'm going to have him sacked 5 times. We saw the O-line dirt diving, so Shedeur could get sacked. And then in the Titans game, we saw Shedeur get that shit done without an O-line. See, he just needed to know who the players were. But Kevin Stefanski denied him the opportunity to build chemistry and learn who the players were, their playing style, so he could know what to expect and what to move away from, because he didn't give him first-team reps. Lack of the first-team reps wasn't about Shedeur's development, because he proved he didn't need first-team reps in the Panthers game. Lack of first-team reps was getting to know Jerry Jeudy, and Jerry Jeudy getting to know Shedeur, that Shedeur going to throw the receiver open. Harold Fanning Jr. Kevin Stefanski not allowing Shedeur first-team reps. He spent all that time dividing the locker room so that Shedeur could be sabotaged by the leaders on the O-line and the leaders in the wide receiver room. And that's exactly what happened. That's why you saw that dust up with Jerry Jeudy thinking he could undermine Shedeur's leadership as the leader of the team. Why? Because Kevin Stefanski undermined Shedeur's leadership as a quarterback since the spring. I believe the Rams game is where you saw players come up to Shedeur because they letting him know, bro, keep going. Don't let this hold you back. This is Shedeur's quarterback, head coach. Shedeur Sanders has to defeat Kevin Stefanski every week before he go and play the opponent. Shedeur Sanders has to defeat Kevin Stefanski every week. And all of the manipulation he put in place. He has to defeat obstacles by the Browns before he can choose who he gonna throw the ball to. And that's an obstacle too, right? Everybody's pointed out, well, you know, Shedeur's guy is Harold Fannin Jr., right? Because why? Everybody else keep dropping the goddamn ball. Everybody else keep getting hurt. You leave him no choice in this game against the Bears. The Bears know exactly what time it is. So Shedeur got to go think again, how do I defeat my own goddamn head coach? With all of these substitutions, players with injuries, people dropping the ball and not being exposed and got to switch it up because I still got to go to Harold Fannin Jr. because he might be my only option. Kevin Stefanski has created a virus, a toxic virus in the Browns organization and in the locker room, one of divisiveness by way of what? Intimidation, retaliation, coercion, manipulation, all designed to keep Shedeur from being successful at the QB1 spot for these last 4 games. Kevin Stefanski should have been fired. I told y'all weeks ago, it was negligence. I told you before that, it was racketeering. I'm telling you again, Rico, I'm telling you, when people start calling for DOJ investigations, when you have people out here calling out Stefanski for intentionally sabotaging Shedeur, then you have other people calling out the Browns for not putting the team in the best position to win year 2 in a row. They're not tanking year 2 in a row. What did they tank in 2024? Did they tank in 2025? Did they tank in 2021? Did they tank in 2022? They've been rebuilding since 2020. And they keep saying they have an aging roster, but they don't replace them. Andrew Berry came out and said he was embarrassed after that 3 and 4 season last year. Embarrassed. Have you ever heard Stefanski say he was embarrassed? No, all you've heard is excuses. Excuses to dismiss his malfeasance. And yet, Haslam doesn't fire him. Shannon Sharp played in the NFL. He know goddamn well these last 4 games are trap games that they chose to leave for Shedeur, believing he can't clean it up because of all of the obstacles between Kevin Stefanski not putting the team in a position to win, whether it's offense and defense now. Because no, it's the defense throwing the games too. Then we talking the dead of winter. But I don't think he care about that because today he was out there practicing and his arms was exposed. He don't care. He getting ready. He know how to cut through the snow. He know how to cut through the elements. He talked about that. He won that damn Titans game with no damn O-line. Kevin Stefanski thought Shedeur would be eliminated, just like the Titans were from the playoffs. Shannon Sharp is correct. Shedeur Sanders is being set up to fail in these last 4 games against 3 of the 4 teams are headed to the playoffs in the dead of winter with a manipulated O-line from last week coming back this week. Jerome Ford on injured reserve now got a new running back into the mix. And Njoku was injured last week. We don't know if he's going to be back. Gage probably going to be left right there to struggle. Whitehart came off the line, had 1 target, failed. Caused a holding penalty, which negated a run for Quinshon Judkins. Or Harold Fannin Jr. He had 1 job, and he failed. So Shedeur has to overcome the sabotage by his own head coach. Shannon Sharp knows exactly what he's talking about by whether it's the Browns organization and Kevin Stefanski or Kevin Stefanski choosing to save Shedeur for these last 4 games. Now, let's understand this. Kevin Stefanski didn't even want Shedeur out there. So we know it wasn't his idea for Shedeur to get the last 4 games. He went crying to Albert Breer because he's upset at how the players are being evaluated because his boy doesn't get a chance to play. And he said others are making decisions that he thought he would have the right to make. His colleague parallel to him is Andrew Berry, the damn GM. So he's upset that the GM needs to have Shedeur evaluated before the season ends so he could get his trade value up so they could capitalize off the trade. But Kevin Stefanski don't even want Shedeur trade value to be up, and we know that because he keeps sabotaging him any goddamn chance he gets. Shedeur has been sabotaged by Stefanski in the Panthers game, the Rams game, in every damn game, the Ravens game, the Raiders game, the 49ers game, the Titans game, and just add the other 4. That's why Kevin Stefanski still has a job. That's why people keep telling me that Andrew Berry got a promotion. Seemingly not yet, but in the offseason it's coming. To move Andrew Berry out the way. So just like now, he can't have any decision-making ability to try to get Shedeur evaluated so he can trade him. So essentially, Kevin Stefanski want Andrew Berry gone so he can hold back whatever quarterback come back next. Dante Moore, if you in school, sir, if you start hearing your name, Lenore Sellers and the Browns, the Shrine Bowl is where the bullshit commences. The Browns were 3-14 last year, and they only won 3 games right now. And it seems that Stefanski gets his way because he still got a job. And Andrew Berry got to do everything he can to get Shedeur on the field so they can trade him. And Mary Cabot wants to say the organization is pivoting to Shedeur, which is why Stefanski's mad because it ain't Dylan. But he has 4 more games to prove himself. Shedeur's already proved himself as franchise. If you think he needs these 4 trap games to prove himself, you don't want him to prove himself, and you yielded to Andrew Berry because he is the goddamn general manager. Whether he's parallel to Stefanski or not, the point is he brought the talent in. He has an obligation to get the damn talent ready for a trade, which none of us are upset about because the Browns are corrupt as shit. They won 3 games last year, and I went back and looked at the narratives of what the hell they was talking about before the draft. Quarterback play was inconsistent. They need to revitalize the quarterback play. Before the 2020 season, they was upset they didn't have a first-round pick because they had Deshaun Watson. But then, after Deshaun gets injured, after they blow the season with 3 games, is Kevin Stefanski. Because as soon as Deshaun got injured, Kevin Stefanski took off his headset, mission accomplished. And then, just like Tommy Rees took over at 2-6 or 2-8, at the same mark of the record, 2-6 or 2-8, Stefanski takes off his headset in a row at the exact same time. What happened to the last OC? He got fired. Why the hell he get fired? So is Tommy Rees going to get fired, or are they protecting Tommy Rees? Maybe somebody need to investigate Ken Dorsey and find out what the hell really happened. Maybe somebody need to investigate, the Department of Justice need to investigate that whole medical staff over there and find out why the hell everybody's injured. Or, as Wyatt Teller told us, I ain't injured. Fake injuries are used to manipulate and restrict the movement of players, which is collusion. And you're using injuries as a loophole. Posick is now out with a tear to his Achilles. Now, understand this. Posick has been removed from the game 2 games previous to the Titans game. He's been taken out the game twice for leg problems and injury, and now he has an Achilles. Why you just didn't take him out the first one and leave him out? Why you keep putting him in and taking him out? Because you needed him to play until you wanted to flip the switch, and then you put in a guy who's not good. So now Posick is gone. And Shedeur has the second string center through these 4 trap games. Shannon Sharp is absolutely correct. People standing on his head know for a fact Shedeur is being set up to fail. They already getting their Twitter fingers ready to pounce on him, believing he's finna lose every last game. And I don't give a damn if he do. But who does that also go against? Andrew Berry, who wanted Shedeur evaluated for a trade. So they undermining Andrew Berry. They set Shedeur up, possibly like Deshaun, to be injured. Here's why. Andrew Berry, when he said, you know what, I'm going to tell you what, let's just take a listen. Just take a listen.
Okay. All right, sit here in front of you with a season we just won 3 games, and I really share in our fans' disappointment, frustration. Quite honestly, I'm embarrassed with the results that we've had as a team this year. Um, just plainly put, we didn't meet expectations. Our decisions coming into the year didn't meet expectations, and ultimately that responsibility lies at my feet. Um, Thinking back a little bit to a year ago where we were coming off an 11-win season going into the playoffs. Our goal has always been to perform at that level or a higher level on a consistent basis. And in order for us to do that, especially as we look at this season, we really have to look at everything. It's an objective and hard analysis at each position group in the roster. It's looking at what we're doing to put our players in the best position to be successful. It's looking about how we practice, how we train to avoid the major losses that we've had in player availability.
Okay, what did he say? Doing what we need to do to have our players put in the best position to win, right? The best position. So your work, that's what your job is. You're supposed to do that in the off season. You're supposed to do that in the regular season. Then he talks about player availability, injuries. So Andrew Berry, you would think this was his first year. But I've never heard Stefanski have this type of transparency. Just listen, and they want Berry fired and want Stefanski to come back. The same people that want Berry fired and Stefanski to come back are the same people who are pissed that Shannon Sharp called for a DOJ investigation into Stefanski and said that these last 4 games are trap games. Shannon Sharp was in the NFL. He know what the hell he's talking about. He is absolutely correct.
Over the past couple of years, we really do have to look at everything. I think it probably goes without saying that to reach that level of consistency, we have to have consistent availability and consistent performance at the QB position as well. And that's something that's been elusive for us for the past couple seasons.
Okay. You know why? Having Deshaun available. If the goal was to have Deshaun available, would you leave him out there to be sacked 33 times in 7 games? And when he get injured, take off your damn headset? No. You left him out there to be injured because what was the result of Deshaun's injury? The insurance company paid $46 million. So was Deshaun left out there negligently to be injured so the insurance company could pick up his $46 million salary? And you made him a scapegoat when it really was Stefanski who took off his damn headset after Deshaun got injured. And you made Ken Dorsey a scapegoat because you knew the rest of the season was a wash because that was the plan. So you fired Ken Dorsey, but you keep Stefanski, the one that's causing all of the problems. You protect Stefanski, who has never said he's embarrassed. And you have Andrew Berry up here admitting he's embarrassed. You won 3 games. You didn't have to allow your quarterback to be sacked 33 times. Deshaun had history before he left Houston. We know he's good, just like we knew Shedeur was good. Absolutely, Kevin Stefanski should be investigated by the DOJ. But don't worry, because if that don't happen, you ain't got to worry about it. Because I've been scrolling on every platform out here. Black people ain't having it. And that's your problem. I don't give a damn what the DOJ don't do. Black people not having it with this bullshit with Shedeur being sabotaged by Stefanski and Stefanski still having a job. And you know, when you got J. Crew out here using black influencers for Christmas pajamas, you know what time it is. See, that's your problem now. See, you done effed up. See, you done pissed off the black community. Now, when the black community find out that you did this same sabotage and was neglectful with Deshaun, and you got him hurt, so an insurance company could pay his salary so you ain't on the hook for it. And then you lied and said Jameis Winston was trash. And you devalued him, but he go over here to New York and he ball out. And everybody like, yeah, he a QB1. Just like they saying about Shedeur. You let the black community learn that you've been rebuilding through the entire social justice and racism movement, and that you don't want Shedeur because you want blonde hair and blue eyes or not melanin. You let the Black community find that out, because I'm waiting for the dots to connect, because it's a lot of us. But the message can spread like wildfire, just like that damn virus over there in that locker room that Stefanski is allowed to keep up. The Black community is pissed. Pissed. Because you are setting up Black excellence and you are saying he's not good. But all it is you want a white boy for a quarterback. The Black community is pissed. And I ain't a nobody representative. I'm telling you the consensus out here. Yep, the Black community is pissed. And even white podcasters are like, yeah, they clearly didn't want to win that game. Maybe they're tanking. No. They've been rebuilding since 2020 through the entire social justice movement at a time when 3 Black quarterbacks were coming out in the first round. They wanted to miss it. They wanted to miss it so much, they got Myles Garrett in 2020, and they got their franchise quarterback out the second round. Is that right? Or was that before that? Because that's crazy as hell, right? They wanted to miss it. They scapegoated Deshaun. They thought he was easy prey because of all of those civil lawsuits. But anybody with a brain and can do math knows goddamn well Andrew Berry ain't give Deshaun $230 million. Because Kevin Stefanski gets to pick Dylan, but Andrew Berry don't get to pick Shedeur, who he went to the Shrine Bowl to meet with after this interview right here. This was like early January 6th. The Shrine Bowl was like January 27th. The teams that asked Shedeur not to work out that he interviewed with were the Titans, the Giants, and the Browns. Kevin Stefanski is undermining Andrew Berry, undermining Shedeur's leadership, dividing the locker room, seemingly egged on Jerry Jeudy until he got some act right. Now it's Stefanski's turn to get some act right. And it's also the Browns' ownership, leadership. Ain't no amount of skinning and grinning Coach Prime Face gonna save you from the Black community that you keep trying to court. Because I know that's why you brought in Big Boy from Outkast. Yeah. I only finally saw footage from Big Boy's account. Yeah. Yeah. You want us to come to the games in the cold and watch you sabotage Shedeur to lose. You invited Coach Prime up to a suite to watch Kevin Stefanski set his son up to lose a damn game because you don't want to go to the playoffs with a Black, beautifully melanated young man. The Browns are not tanking. They are intentionally losing and sabotaging their quarterbacks that are Black. And for those people that say, look what they did to Baker Mayfield. Where the hell is Baker Mayfield? Okay, then that's where Shedeur should be, on another team, balling the hell out and not being set up by Stefanski and captured like he's a part of a group of fucking flies that you just want to trap and destroy. Black quarterbacks, every Black quarterback that been through there, done been set up and scapegoated and devalued and kicked out the league or demoted. And that's what they want to do to Shedeur with these last 4 trap games. Anytime you hear them saying, after Shedeur has set all of these damn records, but he has 4 games to prove himself, Shedeur don't need to prove nothing else. He don't need to prove nothing else. And I'm going to tell you what he needs to look out for. He needs to look out for being injured. Keep listening.
And that's something that we have to be able to fix and remedy. I'll share, with you all this morning that, I was recently listening to John Maxwell talk. And John Maxwell, he's a former pastor, longtime leadership executive coach. He was like a New York Times bestseller, and he was talking about the topic of how to get a positive return on failure. And he used this term. He talked about like good misses and bad misses, and it stuck with me because I've listened to Kevin coach quarterbacks for 5 years, and he uses the same terminology where it's like, hey, you're going to miss throws, but let's make sure they're a good miss or a bad miss. And the way John categorized, good misses versus bad misses is with good misses, they force you to adjust. They're failures where you learn and you have to adjust, where the bad misses, they're the ones where you don't learn anything and you make excuses. And we have a lot of good people in our organization, from core group of players, good coaches, good people in football operations. We will make adjustments and we will learn from this and we will grow for this. I will learn from this and I will grow from this to ultimately deliver the results that our fan base deserves and our organization deserves.
Andrew Berry has to be the only person that worked there that give a damn about the fan base and what they deserve. The only person that's been transparent enough to explain to you that, misses will happen, losses will happen, but there's good losses versus bad losses, and we must adjust. Did Stefanski adjust when he allowed Deshaun to be sacked 33 times through 7 games? No. He took off his headset and handed it to the guy that they scapegoated and fired him. But everybody know he's still out here calling plays, because he did the same thing this year, but he's still out here calling plays. Why? Because Shedeur ain't injured. See, Shedeur didn't get injured yet. Keep listening to Andrew Berry tell you why it is, how things work. Just take a listen, because there's a play here. And it ain't on Andrew Berry. It's on Stefanski in these last 4 trap games.
The last thing I'll do before I open up with questions, I did want to give an update on Deshaun. Yesterday, as we went through our normal player, medical process, we did learn that he did have a setback in his, Achilles recovery. We don't have all the details and everything yet, but it obviously extend the recovery process for him. It is new information, just learned in the past couple hours, so I don't have everything yet, but did want to make you all aware of it before opening up for questions. So with that, I'll leave it to you all.
As far as Deshaun's
concerned. So understand this. What did he just tell you? He just told you that after Deshaun was left negligently to be sacked 33 times through 7 games, somewhere in the process after that, because this is January, somewhere he re-ruptured his Achilles. So it means he might not be available next year. What does that do? It opens the door for them to go to the Shrine Bowl to meet with Shedeur, because we need to get a quarterback. So I don't know about Deshaun's injury being re-ruptured for real or not. All I know is it opened the door to move Deshaun out the way at a time they do have a first-round pick. And they selected Shedeur, number 2 overall. So the questions that they asking are coming in fast and furious. The reporters want to know, wait, whoa, what? So we ain't going to even have a quarterback? So we went through all of this in the season. He got hurt. It's January. They having a exit medical checkups. Deshaun himself is said to have reported the injury, the problem. He felt something. The team of doctors said, oh, your Achilles is re-injured. I can't trade Deshaun, because for one, the insurance company paying his damn salary. So I can't just up and trade you. So they found a way to move him out the way so they could go after Shedeur. Now, this is January 6th. I'm fully aware of what the hell is going on in January 6th. I would absolutely love to know every bit of communique between the Browns and Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime, on the pre-draft process. Because at this moment, you have been told by the GM, Deshaun has re-injured his Achilles somehow. He reported it. The medical team approved it. And Andrew Berry, 20 days later, was at the Shrine Bowl, courting Shedeur Sanders. So let's take a let's take a look here at some of the things discussed about the Shrine Bowl. Okay. So my franchise or my QB1 is injured in January of 2025. The draft is coming. The Shrine Bowl is coming. Do you think that they quickly pivoted and said, let's scan all the quarterbacks out here? Oh, hell, let me look at the top 10. Let me look at the top 3 because we got the number 2 pick overall. Let's see. In October, Shedeur was the number 1 player coming out of college. After Shedeur won the Johnny Unitas Award, Shedeur was the number 1 player coming out of college. So let's go with the number 1 player coming out of college. So you know what? We're going to get the number 1 player coming out of college. He going to be at the Shrine Bowl. Let's set up some meetings. Yeah. So you went after the number 1 player in college when on January 6th, you were not 100% certain just how bad Deshaun's re-injury is. Did you care? Did it matter? Because you went and got you the number 1 player coming out of college, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. Let that context sink in. Our number 1 guy is hurt. The season is ending. Through a medical checkup, we find out he said something's not feeling right. We mark him down as an Achilles re-injury, which takes time. And on January 27th, we are now interviewing the number 1 quarterback coming out of college, Shedeur Sanders. Let it sink in. Let it resonate. And I want you to think about how he's been treated behind, damn it, Dylan. Let that sink in. So you knew exactly who Shedeur was because you went and got yourself the number 1 quarterback to use with your number 2 pick overall. Asked him not to work out at the Shrine Bowl because you didn't want him to get injured. So you was protecting him at the Shrine Bowl, protecting your interests at the Shrine Bowl, but not in the Rams game, not in the Titans game, both elimination events. Let that sink in. Just let it resonate for a minute. You know, often we talk and we keep it pushing. We finna come back and revisit this for a couple of days. Because Shannon Sharp is correct. The DOJ needs to get involved. Stefanski should have been fired. And the last 4 games are trap games. Because as you just heard Andrew Berry say, on an exit check, an injury pops up or a re-injury. And that opened the door for them to go get a quarterback. Isn't that what they want to do in 2026? Shedeur out here balling the hell out. See, it was easy with Deshaun. He injured. Then he re-injured. So I can move you right the hell on out the way, file the paperwork for the insurance company, pay your salary. I'm straight. I'm still winning. So I'm going to go get me a quarterback. And Shedeur. So now it's Shedeur's turn in the QB1 seat. Headed into 4 trap games after we have watched Stefanski sabotage him from the spring through the Titans game. And probably in practice setting it up so he could lose. We just ain't out there. If he get injured, or they say he's injured in this game, guess what they're going to do? Regardless of how he plays. He could go out here and win every last game. But if injury going to pop up, and they're going to open that door and go get their white boy. And if they don't do it this year, they're going to do it next year. Because the Manning kid coming out, if he don't surprise everybody and come out in 2026, he will for certain be out in 2027. So I need a placeholder if I don't get this white boy in 2026. Guess who my placeholder might be? Stefanski don't want Shedeur to be evaluated to be traded. Everybody else over there setting him up to fail, including the defense, to lose. That's why Myles Garrett is pissed. He ain't signed up for this. Y'all said y'all was going to make improvements. Y'all doing exactly what you did last year because you only won 3 games. Last year, you still on the hook. You only got 3 games. It would have behooved you to win the damn Titans game so the fans could see some type of improvement. But Stefanski never addresses the fans. Only Andrew Berry is concerned about how this shit look. You know why? because he the GM, he could be the fall guy. Isn't he the one they wanted fired? Yes. Stefanski is the one they protected. Again, Shedeur better watch himself because that O-line still gonna be raggedy. Luckily, he escaped it last time. It don't matter how he played. They're gonna come up with an excuse. You let that Manning kid come out and say, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm coming out. They'll trample all over Shedeur. And we all know the Manning kid is not better than Shedeur. They don't want Shedeur's elite talent because that will park him in the franchise for the foreseeable future. And the fans ain't having it. And the fans make this go around. The fans ain't having it. So now I got to watch how I move. If I trade Shedeur and then I keep Deshaun and it don't work out, do I want it to work out? No. They said Deshaun has played his last snap in the NFL. I have asked multiple times, how can you be so sure? Because that's the plan. They say the Green Bay Packers going to the Super Bowl. It damn sure look like it, don't it? I said, how you know? Because that's the plan. So now that everybody's pivoting towards Shedeur, that's to get the fans to come back to the games and the tickets to go up from $7 and not down to 35 cents in the dead of winter. I don't want to trade Shedeur. I only paid him $975,000. Plus the Manning kid ain't coming out. So technically I need Shedeur for next year as a holdover, a placement until the white kid come out that I want. I'm saying it like that because that's what the hell it is. It's ugly, but that's what the hell it is. This ain't about Shedeur's talent. This is about Shedeur not being white. I don't want to win with you. Who else throws a playoff game so they don't have to go? Somebody that don't want to win with a black quarterback. Let's not act like the NFL doesn't have a disgusting, disturbing history with black quarterbacks. I have said it. Black quarterbacks are in an abusive relationship with their employer. Shedeur Sanders is in an abusive relationship with Kevin Stefanski. Abused by Stefanski all spring, summer, fall, winter. Through 4 whole seasons. 4 whole seasons. And nobody wants to do anything about it. But they want to get mad when Shannon Sharp calls for a DOJ investigation and points out that these last 4 games are trap games. These last 4 games are indeed trap games. Not just for Shedeur to lose, for Shedeur to get hurt so they can open that door and go get who? Somebody that's not black. Even if it is a holdover for a year. A way to bitch Shedeur at QB2, Deshaun at QB3, trap 2 elite black quarterbacks behind mediocrity until the Manning kid comes. These are indeed trap games. This is racketeering. And I've been saying it's racketeering. And the only person they've wanted to fire is Andrew Berry, the only one that's willing to be transparent over there. Because he's black. So let's listen to Stefanski and how he operates. So anytime you see this photo with the Rams player with his hand on Shedeur's shoulder, I want you to remember Shedeur was taken out of the game at a pivotal moment, the 2-minute drill. And they played Shedeur against another black quarterback, Huntley, who they had already designated to be let go. So what was the point? Cruelty. Cruelty was the point. Cruelty by Kevin Stefanski was the point. Let me tell you what I have said. And I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to be very clear about this. And people want to make excuses for it. But Stefanski is not trying to save himself. Y'all trying to save Stefanski. But Stefanski been telling us since Shedeur arrived that I know exactly who he is, and I don't give a damn. Because he's not worthy of being a quarterback. We're going to have to put him down and dead. Now they're going to try to do it again. And he ain't been fired. See, Stefanski's behavior, if you're from the South, you might recognize it. Stefanski's disdain, contempt, racism, discrimination, hatred towards Shedeur is the same hatred that the Klan has for Black people. See, people want to make excuses. He ain't making no excuses. He took his hood off. He don't give a damn what y'all think. He told you he was a servant leader. Who the hell is a servant leader of a job? Nobody. You have watched Stefanski do what the Klan desires with Black people. Dismiss them. Hold them back. Get them hurt. Be cruel. See, that's the point. The cruelty. Circle the word cruelty. That's the overall goal, to make you feel worthless. Stefanski has Klan behavior. And yes, the DOJ should investigate. And no, I don't think it's going to happen today or tomorrow. But the Black community is pissed. So if you want that damn stadium full, you're going to have to go get somebody else to do it. People making excuses for Stefanski, and he keep setting himself on fire so he can let you know exactly who he is. Some of us know.
We expect more from our run defense. The giveaways there. That's not about who we are.
He's explaining why it is the game went the way it went, the Titans game. He's talking about the run defense didn't do its job. He never addressed the pass defense. He never addressed the O-line's failures. He didn't address the O-line dirt diving in the 49ers game. He didn't address the O-line's ridiculous performance, underperforming in this game. He's deflecting away from the O-line because he needs them for these last 4 trap games. And with Posick being benched, I get to go to lesser talented guys that I know can't get the job done against a team like the Bears. I watched them play versus the Packers. They are aggressive. So that means the O-line for the Browns gonna spend their time on the ground, on their back, being easily pushed over like they did. Number 72, I see you. Shedeur better be careful out there. Because all they want to do is find a reason to open that door and get a white boy as a quarterback. If they cared anything about him, they would have fired Stefanski, had Shedeur be set up, use these last 4 games. When I say set up, I mean set up to succeed. The defense will be playing aggressively like the number 2 defense does. It will be all systems a go, and they can go out here and truly compete these last 4 games. You can see who it is you need to go into the 2026 draft, wide receivers and O-linemen. Hell, you could use all 10 of your picks on the O-line alone, because don't nobody need to come back. Nobody. They all have decided to flush their careers by intentionally underperforming at the request of who? Who? And Joel Bitonio is on the NFL Players Association, some kind of board member or representative for the Browns, and he was out here dirt diving. So who asked him to do that? Shedeur better be careful. These are trap games. Shannon Sharp was in the NFL. He know what he's talking about, and you could see it. Just like the Rams game was a trap game for Shedeur to eliminate him from QB2. These last 4 games are trap games to eliminate Shedeur from QB1 on anybody's team if he's traded or with the Browns next year. And to open the door to go get my white boy. That's what it is. Shannon's right. And you notice nobody wants to move Stefanski out the way because he got a job to do. Maybe he'll leave the organization just like he took off his headset after Deshaun got hurt. So maybe after they hurt Shedeur's trade value or QB1 role, maybe he'll move on. Mission accomplished. So it's giving Stefanski's job is just nothing to come in and destroy Black quarterbacks' careers so they could be devalued by the time they leave Cleveland, downgraded, demoted by any means necessary, including negligence and allowing Deshaun to be sacked 33 times through 7 games so they can collect on an insurance policy. Now it's Shedeur's turn. Who's next?
We got to protect the ball. We had a punt blocked, and obviously not getting either of the 2-point plays really off is frustrating. So that's on all of us. We own it. Can't hide from it. It's all of us. It's offense, defense, special teams. It's players and coaches. We'll own it. It's frustrating, but we'll move on together. That's what we'll do. So I'll take any questions.
I know Shedeur had the pretty bad interception, but just overall, what about the sort of moxie that he showed in bringing?
Yeah, he fought, throughout the game, which we knew he would. Obviously, with any young player, Mary Kay, there's going to be ups and downs, and I thought there were some really, really good moments. He'll keep learning from some of the plays that he wants back, but some really good moments.
This is how you know they don't appreciate him. Mary Cabot starts. I know Shedeur had the interception. Hello, Shedeur out here setting records in the NFL, setting records in the Browns organization, in good company with Joe Burrow, up here with Aaron Rodgers. Are you serious compared to Tom Brady? Are you serious right now? This is not a young man that's safe in this organization. Even the media is in on it. The same media. How many times did you hear Mary Cabot talk about the playoff run? How many times did you hear about the playoff hunt and what the win-loss scenarios were for the Raiders game, following the Raiders game, then the 49ers game, then the Titans game? They're in on it. The media is in on it. Y'all want to talk about who the opposition is? Mary Cabot. The Browns media, who intentionally did not mention or question, didn't build any level of excitement for the playoffs because the Browns don't want to go to the playoffs with their black quarterback. And you know how you know this? In 2023, when they did go to the playoffs, they had 6 quarterbacks rotate. 6, including Deshaun, who they took out because they say he had an injury. A lot of injuries, right? Deshaun has never played more than 10 games for them. He stays injured. How many times has the insurance picked up his salary? That needs to be asked. He stays injured because he can't be the franchise quarterback if he played less than 10 games. He also stays and remains the scapegoat so they could lose the next few years because Deshaun is trash. Deshaun wasn't trash when he left Houston. Nobody ever asked, well, why the hell did you want Deshaun? 13 other teams wanted him. Why did you feel the need to tell Andrew Berry, go get me that, just to make him a scapegoat and to not let him play and keep him injured so the insurance company can pay? Fraud, racketeering, insurance fraud, medical fraud, racketeering. The way Stefanski answered the question, you didn't think Shedeur had a stellar performance. That's why when you hear Shedeur tell Cam, when Cam want to see what the offseason going to do, he said, I got to see, how this season going to end up. Because he know. They don't want him. They don't value him. And it's a shame. Because they can win with this kid. But because he's beautifully melanated, they don't want to. Because in 2023, they rotated 6 goddamn quarterbacks. 3 of them were black in the top half of the game, the top half of the season, that amassed a winning record. Then they got practice squad Joe Flacco to come in. He lost his first game, and I think he might have won the other 4, but they also had Dorian Thompson-Robinson playing with Flacco. And then what happens? They get to like a wild card game. Do you think Stefanski went back to any of them black quarterbacks like P.J. Walker? We don't even know if Deshaun was injured by then or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Do you think he went back to any one of them that helped to get a winning record? No, he went to somebody that didn't play all season because he didn't want the black players to be the hero. He didn't want Deshaun to be the hero ever. Ever. They only wanted to disparage and devalue Deshaun's skill set and use him as a scapegoat to block elite black players like Shedeur. Because that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. Well, we took a big swing and missed with Deshaun Watson. Did you really? I have said that so many times. You didn't take a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson. Why do you think they won't let him get out there and play? Because that's going to be proven a lie. Deshaun get out and ball out in his last year under that contract. Then it proves that the owner lied and scapegoated Deshaun by saying we took a big swing and missed after they pre-draft with Shedeur right up to 2 weeks before the draft, after everybody else had already picked their quarterback. Bait and switch. I've heard insurance fraud, bait and switch, negligence, racketeering. This is sinister. This is so far. This is corruption. This is bad. This is bad. And before we get to these last 4 games, you hearing about it because you need to know what to look for. Kevin Stefanski showed you what he's capable of in the Rams game. Keep taking Shedeur out. What you did know is what Kevin Stefanski is capable of leaving the quarterback in behind a negligent O-line to be sacked 33 times in 7 games. And when he get injured, take his headset off. And then the offensive coordinator becomes the fall guy for the season. And then Kevin Stefanski gets to come back and do it again. And don't they want Kevin Stefanski to come back and do it again? Yes. And why is that when you have Shedeur on the ground? Because I don't want to win with him. It ain't Deshaun. And in Houston, it wasn't only Deshaun. That's why he got $230 million. Because he asked for a trade and got retaliated against, very likely. It should be investigated. If it wasn't for 12 million people out here talking about this situation, Shedeur would end up in the same situation as either Jameis Winston, devalued and shipped off as a product you can't make your starter in an era where 17-32 is the motive to make sure that historic year with 17 black quarterbacks as starters does not ever happen, which is why they didn't call Cam to replace Daniel Jones, which is why Daniel Jones was shipped out of Minnesota to take Anthony Richardson's job. Cam said he thought it was his personality. I said, Cam, it's your skin color. You would contribute to the historic 17-32 for black starting quarterbacks. He don't even see it himself, or he just not wanting to be honest about it. So Stefanski's demeanor trying to rush through the press conference is totally different from Andrew Berry. And who is it they want fired? Andrew Berry.
What's supposed to happen on that last 2-point conversion?
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call. Why would you take him off? Yeah, it's a 2-point play. Didn't come through on our first 2-point play. Got to the second 2-point play. We didn't come through, but that's on me.
Was that play call yours or Tommy's?
I'm responsible for all of it.
So understand this. He's still calling the plays. He undermined Tommy Rees when Tommy Rees first got the headset to call the plays, be the signal caller, by saying, if you've played Madden, you can call plays. That was undermining Tommy Rees. So he just seemingly took over. He said it. They said it publicly, like posturing. I told you it's a lot of posturing happening. I don't know if you can see his shirt. He has on that Inspire Change shirt with the unity, freedom, equality. That's some bullshit. That's posturing. And the fact that he even wearing the goddamn shirt and sabotaging Shedeur and every other black quarterback that come through there is posturing. It's just corporate posturing so you don't hold the organization accountable. But understand this. One could say that he's gone rogue for the years and they won't hold him accountable. So the organization is indeed accountable. Indeed, he's accountable. Shannon Sharp is correct. These are 4 trap games. Shedeur is being set up to fail. Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging Shedeur, and the DOJ should definitely be investigated.
Kevin, on the first one, just I guess what prompted wanting to go forward in that scenario?
Yeah, it's a scenario that we talk about a lot. That's something that when you're down 14, feel good about the decision there.
He never answers the questions. They asked him why you took Shedeur out. He never answered the questions. I called the plays. That's on me. This guy just asked him what prompted you to make that play. Yeah, you're down 14. Yep, that's on me. No accountability. No transparency. Sabotage. Corruption. That's it. And this guy still has a job. So he speaks to the values of the owner, and no amount of skinning and grinning in Coach Prime's face. But then letting Stefanski sabotage Shedeur, take him out the game to lose or cruelty is the point. It's going to absolve Haslam. So when I told y'all, don't be surprised if he get forced to sell this team before that stadium open. Now you can kind of start to see just how deep this corruption goes and how long it's been going on. So that's Stefanski. He can only get away with this because the person above him, which is Haslam, allows him to be negligent, to sabotage, to be corrupt, to divide the team, to hold down the defense, to hold down the offense. Haslam. So that's just what it is, right? I'm going to show you something from the Shrine Bowl on why teams were interested in Shedeur. And then I want you to think about what happened at the combine. And I want you to think about Shedeur being abused all spring and summer long by Stefanski. And then coming out and being set up in every game that Stefanski has been the head coach. And you should expect it these last four, because Shannon is correct. Why would the pattern change now? Did I fire Stefanski? No. Is he going to call the game? Yes. So why would anything be different? Why would the sabotage not happen this time? We've been paying attention the whole way through, and Stefanski ain't gave a damn. And Haslam hasn't gotten him in check. He hasn't fired Stefanski. He hasn't held him accountable. Why would these last four games be different? Shannon Sharp is correct. The Browns are setting Shedeur up with 4 trap games, but not just to lose, but to maybe open the door toward their white quarterback by any means necessary. So that's what it is. All right. So this is from the Shrine Bowl. I want y'all to see. Now, there's no way that the Browns can get away with how they've treated Shedeur, put Shedeur behind Dylan. There's absolutely no way. And I told y'all Shedeur had evidence. Hell, it's evidence on the damn internet. All right. Understand this. I asked the question, what teams did Shedeur Sanders meet with at the Shrine Bowl? At the 2025 Shrine Bowl, which was January 27th, it said quarterback Shedeur Sanders was an interview-only participant and met with the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants. Now, y'all know the Giants defamed Shedeur. Y'all know they led the campaign to devalue him by a character assassination. Y'all know that campaign was led and orchestrated. Well, it was orchestrated by who? Brian Daboll, who has since then been fired. Callahan was a Tennessee Titans coach who has also since been fired because he didn't want his black rookie quarterback to be successful and was doing the same thing, causing divisiveness in the organization and losing at the same time. So what? They fired Callahan. So 2 of the 3 teams, the head coaches have been fired from the Shrine Bowl, but not Kevin Stefanski. He only won 3 games. When Callahan got fired, Stefanski had the same record as Callahan. Stefanski only won 6 games in the last 2 years. When those quarterback rooms are filled to the brim with black talent. And where are they now? Out the league, shipped out, and demoted. How is it that Jameis Winston can be the starter for the majority of the season and he leave and go to New York as a QB3 or 4, but not a 1 or a 2. Intentional devaluing of black quarterbacks in an era where 17 to 32 is the motive to reduce the number of black starting quarterbacks. So there's not 17, and going into the 2026 draft, that there's not even 15 or 14 or 13, maybe 10. It said Sanders did not participate in practices on or the game itself, a common decision for a highly rated prospect expected to be an early first-round pick. It said the teams he met with reportedly asked him not to practice to avoid injury. So here we go. The Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, and New York Giants. These teams held the top 3 picks in the 2025 draft. All right. Tennessee could have gotten Shedeur, but all they talked about is we want to trade our pick, and they didn't have nothing negative to say about it. The Cleveland Browns were the ones who were planning to get Shedeur number 2 overall. I never even considered the Giants a real prospect, but because since they were number 3, and apparently they didn't trust the Browns to get him, he would still be on the board when they got to him at 3. They needed justification not to draft him. So they assassinated his character. What that should tell you is, with the extensive pre-draft process by the Browns, even Adam Schefter saying, I could say with certainty the Browns are getting a quarterback at number 2, Shedeur, the one they've been drafted with. Shedeur was using the word coach. I think Combine Weekend, he was talking about Stefanski. Because listen to the draft they call, he calls him coach. He was talking about Stefanski. They've been talking. Shedeur has evidence that he was going to be number 2 overall until they bait and switched. Stefanski doing the same thing with the bait and switch that he did in the Rams game, taking Shedeur out at pivotal moments. The 2-point conversions, the quarterback sneaks without Shedeur, taking Shedeur out at pivotal moments. The pre-draft process, all the way to 10 days before the damn draft. Bait and switch, cutting away from Shedeur, taking Shedeur out at pivotal moments. There's some pivotal moments coming up these last 4 games. They got to decide what they're going to do about a quarterback. I don't know why. They got their quarterback. It said right here. They asked him not to practice so he don't get hurt. All 3 teams came at the same time. Tennessee, we don't want this pick. The Giants, he entitled, he trash, he not that good. His dad is a shadow. The Browns, no, we don't have a problem with Coach Prime. And yeah, Shedeur is good. So let's just keep going. It said, what were the Titans' reported reasons for their interest in Shedeur? It said the Titans' reported reasons for their interest in Shedeur focused on evaluating the intangibles, something that Mike Tomlin said were great, and personality, something the Giants assassinated his character, right? To see if he was a potential franchise quarterback with the 1st overall pick. So Tennessee interviewed Shedeur Sanders to see if his personality in the intangibles, meaning it ain't got nothing to do with football, if he will be a potential franchise quarterback with the 1st pick. I want you to know, they didn't want that pick. They tried everything. They didn't want Travis. They didn't want Abdul Carter. They didn't want Shedeur. They didn't want Cam. That's 4 black people. They didn't want none of them because they were at 1, 2, 3, and 4. They didn't want none of them. They just wanted to get out that pick, and they didn't decide on getting Cam until 2 days before draft week. Yep. It said key reasons and impressions included maturity and poise. Head coach Brian Callahan, who has since been fired, noted that Sanders was very poised and mature and knew how to handle being in the spotlight. Personality and character. The Titans staff left the meetings with a positive impression, describing him as a good kid with a pleasant and happy demeanor that was different from the way the media portrayed him. So the media, the Mary Cabot lady, she's part of the media. I knew Shedeur threw an interception. She didn't say shit about his achievements and breaking records and celebrated that they have their franchise QB. So how is it that Tennessee could evaluate Shedeur as a franchise because he got the skills? Now we looking at the person. And he's great. But the Browns got him behind Dylan. Let's keep going because the Browns got some input here too. It's that football IQ decision-making. Callahan emphasized that decision-making, timing, and accuracy were the primary attributes the team looked for in a quarterback, and they believe Sanders displayed a good understanding of these aspects on film. This is the direct opposite of what Stefanski said about Shedeur from the spring, the summer, the fall. Yep. Took Shedeur out of the Rams game so he couldn't display these attributes. Taking Shedeur out pivotal moments is a strategy. So he doesn't win, so he doesn't prove himself. So they can't properly evaluate him on things that matter. The 2-minute drill, decision-making, accuracy, timing, but you take him out. Intentional sabotage by Kevin Stefanski. It said toughness. The team noticed his toughness on tape, specifically his ability to take hits and keep playing. And you take him out when y'all need 2 points after you watched him run with somebody trying to shred his damn clothes, and he still got it done. But you take him out because he's tough. You don't want him to be tough because you don't want him to score no more and get no more touchdowns. And you don't want him to let everybody else see how good he is. Intentional sabotage. This is why the Black community is pissed. Relationship with his father. The team enjoyed the dynamic when his father, Deion Sanders, FaceTime during their meeting, seeing it as a sign of a strong family relationship. This should tell you that the Titans knew they were not getting Shedeur. And I can tell you that because they tried everything to get rid of that goddamn pick, and they decided on Cam at the last minute. And the way they treated Cam, making him seem difficult, Callahan, before he was fired, they didn't want a black quarterback. I don't think they wanted Travis. They didn't want none of them. They had the opportunity to level up. They didn't want a black quarterback. They wanted to keep Will Levis. So they got Cam, and they have let him be sacked 48, 49 times. Negligence, because I don't want a black quarterback, and I'm going to use this to devalue you. So that was Tennessee. It said the Titans were in need of a potential long-term answer at quarterback and used the Shrine Bowl to get a personal, in-depth evaluation of Sanders off the field. Cleveland Browns up next. Yeah. So the Titans needed a long-term solution and decided to go either trade the pick or go with Cam. Now, one of the reasons I believe they went with Cam is because either the Giants or the Browns was like, hands off, Shedeur is our guy. Right. And I've read that that's a strategy that teams use to covet the player they want, so nobody else gets them. Right. But here's the thing. It's documented, so, we can look into it. Right. That's what DOJ investigations are for. Okay. So what was the Browns' interest in Shedeur? The Cleveland Browns' interest in Shedeur Sanders at the Shrine Bowl centered on a comprehensive evaluation of his personality and on-field skills as a potential long-term franchise quarterback. What was it? Franchise? Did somebody say franchise? Did somebody say franchise? Did somebody say franchise? Shedeur's proven he's a franchise quarterback, and he only has played 3.5 games. I wonder why. Let me read it again. The Cleveland Browns' interest in Shedeur Sanders at the Shrine Bowl centered on a comprehensive, that means you checked off all the boxes, comprehensive evaluation of his personality and on-field skills as a potential long-term franchise quarterback. Now, this is in January. And on April the 4th, you are still with Shedeur Sanders as the number 2 overall pick as a potential long-term franchise quarterback. So we go from January, February, March, April 4th. Mary Cabot is on Colorado's football field, and it's documented. The Browns have a tough decision to make after today's showcase on whether or not they're going to get Travis and Shedeur. So you threw in Travis to sweeten the pot, and make people think Shedeur is a lock. Because Shedeur is a lock if I'm courting you from January, February, March, April 1st, April 2nd, April 4th. You a lock. And all I do is throw Travis into the mix. The draft, 2 weeks away. Everybody got to decide. I told y'all before the draft, they knew who they drafted. They already knew. So, January. Other teams are knowing what we're talking about from January, February, March, April. I told you, go find facility from the show that used to be called The Facility, and listen. Find the episode where you hear Chase Daniels say that Jackson Dart is going to sneak into the first round. That is a reference date. That date tells you they knew they were going to devalue Shedeur. He wasn't taking Cam's spot, but he could have. Why they didn't get Jackson Dart? Why the Titans didn't get Jackson Dart? You heard me say they need a long-term solution. Why they didn't get him? If he's sneaking into the first round and it's only 2 quarterbacks on the board between Shedeur and Cam, whose spot was he taking? Why wasn't it? If he was all of that, why you just didn't get him first? Because if you took him second, if he was all of that, why you just didn't get him first? Because the Giants already had a lock on Ole Miss alum. Archie Manning went to Ole Miss. Eli Manning went to Ole Miss. Jackson Dart went to Ole Miss. The GM's daughter, Ole Miss. The GM, Ole Miss. So they knew who they wanted. And because they knew who they wanted, they thought it was smart to defame, humiliate, and devalue Shedeur Sanders so they don't be forced to take him and then question about it like people are questioning Kevin Stefanski for sabotaging Shedeur and taking him out the games at pivotal moments. That was their plan. Let's destroy and assassinate his character so we don't have to get him. And wait, let's humiliate him too. Pat Schumer used to work for the New York Giants, so look at that humiliation again. All of the Ole Miss people connected together. Ole Miss prank caller was not the defensive coordinator's son from Atlanta. I don't even believe Atlanta had shit to ever do with that. It was all the New York Giants because they wanted Jackson Dart. If you watch me on draft day, you can see that I quickly came to that realization that they did all of that to assassinate Shedeur Sanders' character so the New York Giants could justify not getting him. They were cruel and disgusting and abusive towards Shedeur because they wanted Dart, who went to Ole Miss and who's white. The Giants have never drafted a black quarterback in the first round. Neither have the Cleveland Browns. So let's look at what the hell they did. So the Cleveland Browns' interest in Shedeur Sanders at the Shrine Bowl centered on a comprehensive evaluation of his personality and on-field skills as a potential long-term franchise quarterback, especially given their position at the number 2 overall pick. So I got the number 2 pick, and I'm coming to you about being my franchise QB, Shedeur. You won the Johnny Unitas Award. You the number 1 quarterback coming out of college. And we're going to get you at number 2. And how the hell does he get behind Dylan? Because he ain't played no more football after this. See, the football is over. So if you came to him January 27th on or about and followed up again with him in a combine, he was a lock. at the number 2 spot. Evidence. They ain't even have to ransack his nightstands for this. It's on the internet. It said key aspects of the evaluation, personality and interests included. It said personality and intangibles. The Browns wanted to meet Sanders in person to understand his character and leadership abilities, which can be difficult to assess solely from film. Team staff, there's a lot of people in that. Team staff noted they were surprised by his smiling guy and always happy demeanor, which contrasted what the media said. So see, here's what the media did. The media got out in front and start trashing Shedeur to give teams an out. But they had to meet with him individually. And if you notice, Tennessee, check. The Browns, check. Alex Wright, who's a defender, just a day ago, after the Titans game, was asked about Shedeur and playing. And, you know, he seemed exasperated that they keep asking about his personality. He said, yeah, he's happy all the time. Isn't that exactly what it says right here? Isn't that exactly what it says right here? The media lied on Shedeur. And all of those media people that set up there should be sued for defamation. It's not too late. They should be sued for intentionally doing a character assassination and lying about who he is so they can intentionally devalue his draft stock. Because they knew in January, before the combine, that 3 of the top 3 teams who all needed long-term franchise quarterbacks would have to consider Shedeur because he was the number 1 quarterback coming out of college. This was intentional sabotage by numerous factions. And now you know why Kevin Stefanski still has a job. Because the people that assassinated Shedeur Sanders' character still has a job. The only one that's been fired in New York is Daboll. The GM still has a job. Understand this. That's the executioner. It said talent evaluation. The team needed a potential long-term answer at quarterback and saw Sanders as one of the top 2 quarterback prospects available. But you put him free agent Dylan Gable. There is no where to hide. There is no justification for sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' career. None. Not in the draft and not in Cleveland. This proves why he won the competition multiple times, because he was better than them, but they didn't care. He won the competition. They didn't care. They mocked him. He's a 5th-round pick. They tried to humiliate him. Cruelty was the point for Shedeur to be behind Dylan. Cruelty. And Flacco leaving blew the lid off of the plot. Stefanski never wanted Shedeur to get on the field. So much so he ran crying to Albert Breer that he's upset by the way the quarterbacks are being evaluated because he didn't want Shedeur to get an opportunity. But Andrew Berry's like, I'm the GM. I got to trade this young man. Andrew Berry got to protect his own goddamn job. Stefanski was going to let Andrew Berry go down for looking like an idiot, just like Haslam did, for making Andrew Berry the scapegoat for getting Deshaun. Hell no. If you don't want no black quarterbacks and your black GM is parallel to the idiotic head coach, you don't want black people in leadership decision-making roles. That's why you saw Andrew Berry in the locker room after the Raiders game. Who knows what he said to Shedeur? I still hope I'm going to get you out of here. Shedeur proved who he was. Now they want to use the last 4 games like they on his side, posturing again, when they know they want him to fail these last 4 games. If they wanted him to win, they will fire Kevin Stefanski and let the defense be the number 2 defense and let Shedeur Quinshawn and Harold Fannin Jr., Jerry Jeudy go to hell out here and ball out. But they don't want that because they don't want to answer questions about Dylan and Stefanski's abuse of Shedeur and sabotage. Understand this. It's on the internet. See, that's why I'm showing you this. You might as well let him play ball because, see, it's right here. It's right here. Talent evaluation. The team needed a potential long-term answer at quarterback and saw Sanders as one of the top 2 quarterback prospects available. He didn't play no football after that. So when the hell did he become a 5th round talent? He did not. There is no justification. Setting Shedeur up in these last 4 games will not help you. It is futile. He is and has always been the top 2 franchise quarterback prospects. In fact, he ain't even the damn 2. He the 1. And you still want to send Stefanski out there to sabotage Shedeur? Well, good luck with that shit. And he better not get hurt. It said fit in the offense. Scouts and coaches analyzed his skill set to determine if he could effectively operate Kevin Stefanski's offensive scheme, specifically his accuracy, football IQ, and ability to keep the ball out of harm's way. Well, he's hella accurate, ain't he? We know his football IQ is up here because they keep raving about it. He just set all kind of records and done something no other quarterbacks have done. And you know they could do it because Myles Garrett told you. Ain't nobody else out here making these throws. And that was before the Titans game. That was the Raiders game. And they ain't even want to celebrate that they top 2 draft prospect to be franchise long term got them in the playoff hunt. Now, why they didn't want to celebrate that? You knew he was your franchise. You got him for $900,000. This year, it's going to be time for the next chapter called Run Me My Money. But we got to get past these last 4 games. And the truth is coming out every day. And yes, if this platform was bigger, they would all hear this. But at least y'all know. Because we're going to have a watch party. And we know exactly what we're looking for. And that's half the game. To know what you're looking for. So, it said injury prevention. The Browns, along with other top picking teams, Titans and Giants, reportedly asked Sanders not to participate in the physical practices to avoid a potential injury that could impact his draft stock or their draft plans. Understand this. They didn't want him to get injured. To do what? So they don't impact his draft stock or his draft plans. But Stefanski set him up to get sacked 5 times in the Rams game before having to decide on who QB2 was going to be in an elimination event. How many times was Deshaun Watson sacked? 33 times in 7 games, which was an elimination event. And then the insurance company picked up that $46 million tab. It's futile to set Shedeur up. But I said that last week. And you see he still did it. But this is more evidence to prove that he was their franchise quarterback. So they have no excuse as to why he was behind Dillon. It don't matter how he got to Cleveland. It don't matter what round he got to Cleveland. His talent was top 2. And after the Titans game, he the 1, not the 2. No justification. Everybody need to be swept up in a RICO. Everybody. Every last person, including that little girl running around while Shedeur's off the clock, talking about, oh, there you go. I got to keep you, make sure you stay out of trouble. RICO. We don't want you. We don't value you. Yes, we know you can get it done, but we don't want you. There's nothing wrong with you. Just like Marlon Briscoe in 1968. There's nothing wrong with you. We just don't want a black quarterback to lead us to victory for the foreseeable future, to be our franchise. Not at 46 million and not at 4 million. Racism. Civil rights violation. Sabotage. It said addressing concerns. The one-on-one time allowed the team to ask in-depth questions and hear directly from Sanders regarding potential concerns, such as how long he sometimes held on to the ball in college. It said ultimately the Browns used the meeting as a crucial point of their research to determine if Sanders was the right fit to reshape their quarterback room and end the team's ongoing search for a definitive franchise quarterback. So that's what they did with that, right? They assessed him already as their franchise quarterback. Then once he gets there for $4 million or $975,000 this year, they put him behind Dillon so he does not get the opportunity to let them see that he's their franchise quarterback. And then Flacco goes, and according to Stefanski, somebody told him winning is the goal. So they got to pivot to Shedeur. Understand this. The Browns set it up so that Shedeur can only get opportunities. In the preseason when Dillon was hurt, no first team reps, no first team chemistry. He knocked it out the park. And again, when Dillon got concussed in the Ravens game, while he also got robbed. I'm going to say it again. Only certain people knew that Bucky would not be in town. Go look at that video. The most watched parts are Bucky's face and Florida's face. And Shedeur, when he was talking on the phone, saying, I got people everywhere, to Jordan Seaton. Only a certain small number of people knew Bucky would not be in town. Start there. All right, so that's it. Now, what this proves, guys, is it proves that Shedeur, the Browns knew he was their franchise QB. It proves that the three teams with the top three all met with him. Notice they didn't tell us what the Giants said because we know they lied. Those two teams have dealt with their problems. Even if they put them up to it, they still got rid of them. Callahan, because they could have had Shedeur, but they didn't want that pick because they wanted to go to Will Levis, and Callahan made this clear. Even with Cam Ward, their $48 million first-round QB on the ground, Callahan made it clear that he wanted to go back to Will Levis, the white guy that failed. So the Titans wanted their white guy. The Giants wanted their white guy. What the Browns want? What the Browns want? They got their franchise QB. They still want their white guy. But in this draft, the top 4 quarterbacks, 3 of them were black. One is Quinn Ewers, and they drafted him dead last. And people say that's because of he wouldn't bench himself and let the Manning kid play, even though the Manning kid ain't ready. So if they wanted their white guy last year, and these same teams are back in the hunt this year, and there's no black quarterbacks in the top 3, top 4, because they successfully put Lenore Sellers at 38 or worse, which is outside of 32 the first round. There's 3 white quarterbacks. So you're going to tell me now when they could get their white guy? Tennessee have Sam Cat sacked 48 times. The Giants, what they going to do? They ain't going to trade Dart. He don't look good. And then what the Browns going to do? Every day they want to wave Mendoza in Shedeur's face. We don't care if you want Mendoza. I know you want the Manning kid. I know the only reason you're trying to move Andrew Berry out of his spot is to either A, make room for Peyton Manning to come in and make the player personnel decisions, and B, protect Stefanski and keep Berry from making decisions that Stefanski go crying to the NFL about by way of Albert Breer. So you're still protecting Stefanski. And chances are you still want your white boy. Even though you knew Shedeur was your franchise QB in the draft. Even though you knew he was your franchise QB when he landed in Cleveland. All you have done was abuse and sabotage him and set him up to fail. And you still will, because you still don't want him to be your franchise QB. The most you might want him to be, but you would have had to fire Stefanski first, is to be QB1 next year so your white boy is available in 2027 out of UT, Arch Manning. All of this to shun black excellence, to destroy greatness. And this is why the black community is pissed. Because we see it. So let me see what y'all are saying. Because the Browns, congressional hearing. And when Jasmine Crockett announced she was running for Senate, I'm like, here we go. Understand this. They're going to fight her tooth and nail because they know. And part of the people that's going to fight her the most is probably the NFL because they know. All right. So let me turn some music on so we can vibe out and go through these comments. All right. All right. There are 200 or 300 of us in here. I think it's 300. I can't see, but it's a lot of us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me hit the like button. Get y'all in here. Subscribe for me, please. It says Shedeur Sanders is having a fantastic rookie season. He is him. Facts. It said Texas Cannon said, so Stefanski is fixing the game on both sides of the ball. Right. That's what happened to the number 2 defense. Exactly. That's exactly it. It said, hey, I enjoy your show and watch party from Dallas. Okay, we're actually, I think, let me put it on the screen. I think I put it in the banner that goes across the bottom of the screen that we will have our watch party at 1 o'clock. Again, it's going to start 10 minutes early so I can get set up and everything. So get ready. And now you are informed. You know what to look for. You know to look for the sabotage and you know why you're looking for it. So there you go. So yes, we're having our watch party. It says Stefanski. It said Coach Stefanski never celebrates Shedeur, but I saw him hug and celebrate Jerry Jeudy after the touchdown in the Titans game. Right. Because he don't want to celebrate Shedeur. I'm not kidding when I said Stefanski's behavior is Klan behavior. I don't know why people want to act like it's not even permissible. When you look at the disgusting and cruelty, the cruel way that Stefanski has treated Shedeur since he landed in Cleveland. Very dismissive, dehumanizing. We're going to have to put him down. Putting him in situations where he could get hurt. Same thing with Deshaun. I don't know why people want to act like but everything he's shown, intentionally shown you that he's not racist. I don't know why. You can keep pretending you want to, but he's going to keep showing you. And that's what makes him such a legal liability. They know it. But the job is not done yet. Let's see. Because how many people you going to get to set up Shedeur? I ain't finna do that. I'm not finna do that. So, they faking injuries. Yep, needs to be investigated. It said the fact that he started how he really shared how he really leaned on God before the game. Right. And Stefanski did everything to take him down, which means he don't believe in God. It says, so why isn't he fired? The owner has to be involved. That's what people are saying. That's the part of the sabotage chapter that we're on. The next chapter is Run Me My Money. We're in the sabotage chapter. When I started this podcast episode today, I said, all right, so the page we all on, everybody knew that the Browns lost that game on purpose. Everybody has now come to realize that the defense was held back intentionally, that the offense was set up by keep taking Shedeur out because they didn't want to win. I also pointed out that was an elimination game from the playoffs, and the media didn't even talk about it before. Only Fox posted a clip with Stefanski with the word eliminated on it. Have you heard the media talk about the Browns were just eliminated from the playoffs and blah, blah, blah? No. Why? The same reason Stefanski doesn't celebrate Shedeur. I don't want you. I don't value you. And we don't want to point out what makes you franchise. Because why didn't we get you? We needed a franchise quarterback. We evaluated you as a franchise quarterback. We knew you were the guy. Crystal clear. The Browns getting their franchise quarterback at number 2. Shedeur calling Stefanski coach, which is why Stefanski, you heard him say on draft day with the call, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Yeah, well, you find it out. And now he want to cry, go run to the NFL because Andrew Berry still has Shedeur on the field, which proves Stefanski didn't make football decisions with Dylan. And that his goal to hold back Shedeur was based and rooted in some type of evil because Shedeur is their franchise. And he doesn't want Shedeur to be their franchise. So he's acting accordingly. But the question is, why is Haslam allowing this? Because Haslam don't want Shedeur to be the franchise? Is this why they traded the pick away so they could get their franchise this year? Or are they going to trade this year pick away, tank again next year, and get their franchise in 2027 when the Manning kid come out unproven? So, everybody knows Stefanski threw the game. Myles Garrett said it last year. He wanted out because y'all not trying to put the team in position to win. They still not trying to put the team in a position to win. They rather try to control what Myles Garrett says and makes him feel like because he's on defense, he has no authority to say what the hell is happening on offense, which is ridiculous. You're the team leader, but you're on defense, so you can't speak to offense. You see the kind of divisiveness they have? This is why the defense is frustrated. Myles Garrett signed a contract thinking he would come and play because they told him they were going to get their franchise quarterback. Myles Garrett told us Shedeur is ready. Myles Garrett has told us Shedeur makes everybody ready, and I will go into battle with him every day. Shedeur does make them ready. He is their franchise quarterback, but they still don't want that. It has absolutely nothing to do, Coach Prime, and everything to do with blackness. The same thing, and they need to be held accountable for that. Fans are not paying to see racism play out year after year, game after game. Somebody said yesterday, their uncle don't even go to the game no more because it's too racist. And this is why the black community is pissed. Because they being obvious with it. And I'll be damned. And we're not talking about people like Whitlock or the other guy. I forget his name. The one that was, what's his name? That was talking all over the place when Coach Prime left Jackson State. And he talking about he went to HBCU. I'm like, and why are we only hearing this now? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Bomani James or Bomani or whatever, him. Not people like that. They not part of the black. He said today he had sleeves for both arms. It was so cold out. Right. He's getting himself used to the weather. Facts. It's that Shedeur cut the man talk off about the coaches helping to guide his progression as a rookie. Shedeur said he hears his dad's voice talking to him. Then they go over what he can improve upon. Facts. What the hell am I listening to you for? You ain't helped him all the way. All you've been doing is holding him back. So they're going to use these last 4 trap games to eliminate him. Whether it's at QB1 spot, period. Whether it's for the Browns, because he does have to be traded. If he's not going to be their franchise, he got to be traded as a franchise. And this is where the black community going to be like, hello, we see you. All right. It's that funny how many Karens are making excuses for that coach. This, you know why they making excuses. It said talking about coach was working with Shedeur. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's so documented. It said Mary Kay said, hey sis, in the title, you have 2 M's for winning. Okay, I'll fix it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It said exactly. Already proved himself since April. Right. And here's the thing. Now that you have the backstory, and just on the pre-draft before the Shrine Bowl, don't forget January, February, March, April. Don't forget. He was on the ground in May, June, July, August. How many months is this? What are we? You've had him as your franchise for 12 months, a whole freaking year, and you still trying to set him up. Knew in January of 2025 he was going to be your franchise. In January 2026, you got one last game to play, and you're going to use these last 4 games to try to eliminate him so he can't be your franchise and anybody else's. These last 4 games are irrelevant. But Shedeur just go out there and have fun. The Browns think they're going to use these games to set up Shedeur when it's documented he was their franchise and he been over there for a year and they've been abusing it for a year, sabotaging it for a year. They refused to fire Stefanski but want to fire Andrew Berry and now throw in Deshaun and potential fake injuries. Okay, let's see what happened. It said Shedeur knows he may not be in Cleveland next year. Right. It said, I'm getting tired of hearing about his footwork. Right. Hearing about his footwork is just as much of a lie trying to devalue him and saying that his arm was weak. Again, the same people who defamed him in the draft intentionally to devalue his they are trying to devalue his trade value, including Stefanski. Since Stefanski is still allowed to run amok, there needs to be calls for a DOJ investigation against Haslam. He needs to be made by Congress to sell the team. Right. And with Shannon Sharp coming out and saying it, this is why they rushing to try to downplay Shannon's call for a DOJ investigation. They trying to downplay Shannon Sharp saying it's sabotage. No, it is exactly sabotage, and it was premeditated sabotage. And he been over there for 12 freaking months, and you knew he was your franchise before he got there, and you trying to devalue him again after he's proven again that he's your franchise. I don't know how many opportunities the Lord gonna let you get it right, but you keep getting it wrong intentionally. All right. Because Shedeur's franchise. And the NFL gonna have a problem on their hands trying to say, well, his footwork. No. Shedeur don't need to prove a damn thing. The only people who say that are people who know these last 4 games are trap games. You see how fast Kevin Stefanski said Teller won't be playing? Right, just like last week. The person he eliminated from contention was Teller, and Teller said he wasn't injured, so they had to change it from a calf injury to coach's decision. So Stefanski, through the last 4 games, this is why Stefanski did the job, to keep the O-line weak that Shedeur didn't need the ball out last week. They're gonna try to say if he throw for 400 yards, 500 yards in every game, he can't win the big games, because that's what they say about Lamar Jackson. But neither can who? Josh Allen. And he gets a pass. I told y'all, Shedeur's career is going to go the trajectory of Lamar Jackson. The reason it could be different, 12 million people. So y'all going to have to use your voice. Hello, everyone. Fire Stefanski. Yeah, I think we're moving on to fire Haslam. I absolutely do. Free Shedeur Sanders. Ain't no love in Cleveland. Trade him. His trade value is sky high. Right. And here's the thing. They just want to use the last 4 games. This is why Andrew Berry went up to him after the Raiders game. Now, it was already up because they won. So then they try to take it back down with the 49ers game by relaxing the defense and the offense. Not a coincidence when Shedeur scores touchdowns, people can't catch passes. Who they going to get to next, I don't know. That's why we're going to be watching to see, because you know what to look for. So Shedeur go out here and ball out against an aggressive defense, because the offense is aggressive and the defense is aggressive. From what I watched of the Packers game and the Eagles game, I think in the Packers game, their offense is aggressive. It's just Caleb seems to be inaccurate, but I also saw Caleb Williams, a center, let a guy through. And I told y'all, this is one of those games just like the last one. 2 black quarterbacks. Which one they want to lose? It's not go out here and play ball. If you think that last game was exciting, go watch Caleb Williams versus the Packers and look at how exciting his play is. Know that they had him sacked 72 times last year. #1 overall pick, Heisman winner. Know that they had Cam, #1 overall pick, sacked 48 times. By the grace of God, Shedeur didn't go to Tennessee because it would have been him. Kevin Stefanski had Shedeur set up, sacked 5 times in the game. Why? Because it was an elimination event. Every game Cam played is an elimination event. So at some point, they could trade him away from the QB1 spot. So here we go. Caleb versus Shedeur. They want Shedeur to lose because if he wins, his trade value goes up, and so do the calls for him to be their franchise. Now, if they let that happen, they want him to be a placeholder for next year. And then the Arch Manning kid gonna come in and they're gonna trade Shedeur. But leaving Kevin Stefanski in place, the O-line being manipulated again. Like y'all pointed out, Stefanski rushing to tell you that Teller is out, that Posick is out. Means the line will look exactly like it did last week. Cupcakes being pushed on the ground. Shedeur have to avoid them so they don't fall on him. Shedeur also have to get out the pocket. One way I saw Caleb do that, I ain't gonna say it out loud, go watch the game. He had to protect his own self for the same thing Shedeur has to protect himself from on the line. Not a coincidence that these are black quarterbacks. Not a coincidence at all. It said, those TV commentators, it said she must be first time in NFL history team because they punted the ball at the 29-yard line of an opposing team. Yep. Yep, it's too late for them to try to take down Shedeur now, but let's see how dumb they are. Trade Shedeur Sanders, yep, and they don't want him to be traded as franchise. Instead, that O-line will be gone next year. They all are in contract years and they suck. And they could have gotten new guys this year, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to. It said, I just jump on. It said, is this a new or old interview of Barry? This is from January of 2025. It said they need an O-line bad. They knew they needed an O-line when they went to the draft, but who did they get? Defensive tackle Mason Graham. How many sacks he got? They could have got an O-line. They didn't want to. So they were going to put Dylan through all that hell. Or did they know they were going to get Shedeur, undrafted free agent, and put him through the hell? Instead, Kevin is point shaving. His actions show this. He's trying to lose. He's throwing the game. He's fixing game. Call it point shaving, but he's intentionally trying to lose because the Titans game was an elimination game. Stefanski wanted to be eliminated from the playoffs. He didn't want to go to the playoffs with Shedeur because Shedeur would be their franchise QB, and he don't want to win with Shedeur. Just like he didn't want to win with the other three black quarterbacks they had. This is not new for Kevin Stefanski. What's new is accountability coming for his head. That's what's new. That's exactly what's new. It's they get Shedeur out of Cleveland. That's probably the best thing, that he survived these last 4 games and get the hell on. Stay healthy these last 4 games. Don't let them fall on you. They have to look at free agency and then draft. Yeah, no. They already know what they want to do. When you saw Haslam talking to Coach Prime, they already knew what they want to do with Shedeur. They already knew. Shedeur knows. That's why he said, yeah, we're going to have to see. Andrew Berry told him something. Berry is the one that does the trading, supposedly. Deshaun Watson got injured on a non-contact play while he was trying to scramble. Deshaun Watson was sacked 33 times in 7 games. That is negligence. The body can't handle that. Of course, it's going to happen at some point. Don't matter whether it was contact or non-contact. You used his injury to get paid $46 million. And this year we heard about all these fake injuries. It don't matter. It needs to be investigated for fraud. Deshaun Watson was actually a great QB for the Texans before. Right. He's a good player. That's why they don't want him to play. Because then if Deshaun get out here and play, oh my. Well, what's been going on? See, Stefanski don't want to be questioned. And Flacco being traded opened the door for Shedeur to play 2 games more than the last 4. And now he franchised. And Stefanski runs and start crying to Albert Breer because he don't like the way the player evaluates, because he's making football decisions. No, he not. He's being exposed, and that's new for him. He's been doing the same crap since 2020. The same crap since 2020. And it's 2025. And Haslam said in September they're going to rebuild for 3 more years, which means Stefanski think he got a job. So that Manning kid come out. Because I'd be shocked if the Mannings want Stefanski to be that kid head coach. I'd be shocked by that. I doubt it. So he think he's safe for another year or 2. And if Flacco gets moved out the way after he benches Flacco, and he didn't know he was benching Flacco apparently, Flacco's gone, it opens the door. Dylan's failing. Stefanski says, well, winning is the goal. So supposedly he got to play Shedeur because, winning is the goal. And obviously we got to be accountable for all of this losing because they only won 3 games last year. They doing exactly what they did last year this year. And they want to bring him back to do it again next year until the Manning kid come. Which means if they keep Shedeur, it's going to be some same Shedeur having to overcome Stefanski and Deshaun on the bench or being turned into a game manager like Dylan. destroying 2 black quarterbacks. It ain't going down like that, brother. It's not going to go down like that. People see it now. People see it now. Yep, no love for Shedeur in Cleveland. The fans like him, but they got to hold Haslam accountable to get rid of Stefanski. And the problem is, the owner, Haslam, I think he would just switch Stefanski with Gruden, because same problem, right? Same problem. So Shedeur got to get the hell out of Cleveland. Cleveland is where they sent him. They thought, and when Cleveland went to court Shedeur, they knew what time it was. When they were gonna get him as their franchise, they knew what time it was. And it seems to me that they intentionally devalued him, thinking he was gonna go undrafted and it was gonna be his savior and get him for pennies. Let Stefanski make his life tough just to move him out the way. Just like Deshaun's injuries moved him out the way. All you gotta do is look at the pattern since Stefanski been there. All you gotta do is look at 2023, 2024. It's identical. Identical. Down to the record and everything. The difference is where we are now. 12 million people watching, calling it out, calling for DOJ investigations, calling for Haslam to be forced to sell the team. Not even 2 weeks ago, Mike Florio said the Browns will continue to be the Browns as long as the owner is the owner. He couldn't even say it out loud. The man name that you saw smiling in Coach Brian's face, and then let Stefanski sabotage him. I don't think Shedeur should fake anything. Shedeur need to just be himself. When you believe in God, you ain't got to fake nothing. I don't think he need to do anything. I think Shedeur need to just go out there and play ball. Red flags with juices and berries. I know that's right. AB did do better. The rookies are balling. Right, and they want to fire him. It said Denzel Ward compares Shedeur to Lamar Jackson, able to snake the pocket and making moves on the goal down the field. Right, and they holding back their defense. They don't even want the damn defense. You know how they say the defense wins games and win championships? They don't even want the defense to win. They've been holding the defense down since we saw Brock Purdy. Then they let Cam go. Myles Garrett should already have the record. They playing in their face too. Every last one of them. So if you play for Cleveland and you get the opportunity to get the hell on, get the hell on. If they say they're gonna make changes, they lying. As long as that owner is Haslam, it's just gonna be like this. And the NFL not doing nothing about it, which is why a DOJ investigation or congressional hearing needs to happen. They say, if you all know that Kevin Stefanski has what? I don't care about Kevin Stefanski's background. It doesn't justify any of the behavior he has done. And I think everybody knows who Kevin Stefanski's mom name. Isn't it Karen Stefanski or something like that? It says Shedeur is going to ball out in every game, giving him excellent tape to get the heck out of Cleveland. Right. He just got to stay safe. I totally agree. Hey, Bridget, how you doing? How you doing? It says, I wouldn't be on the internet if I had a choice. It said I wouldn't be on the internet if I had a choice. I keep my socials to stay connected to my family. Yep. It said Shedeur must get out of there immediately. These people are scumbags. Facts, Robin. Facts. That's it. That's facts. That is facts. That is facts. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Salafi. How you doing? It said Miles didn't sign up for it, but he definitely going along with it. I'm gonna tell you something about Miles. I know he got that contract for $160 million. Now remember, even if it's fully guaranteed, just like Cam's, there are things you can do for your contract to be voided. And no, he's not going along with it. What he has done is found a way to say we're not being prepared to win. In fact, that's what he said. We need to be prepared to win. He's letting you know, and best he can without being retaliated against. Because we talking retaliation here. Tony Brown, remember? He's already been outspoken of Shedeur, so he keeps being outspoken of Shedeur. And they have obviously already pulled it to the side. They already started retaliating against him when they told him what? When we found out he had 8 speeding tickets, and Mary Cabot was happy to tell us and make us think he was reckless when he wasn't. right? And I told y'all, you don't think it's strange that the only two people we know that have speeding tickets are Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders? And we knew about Myles after he spoke up for Shedeur, said, we're going to need you. Retaliation. Racketeering. How do you get the O-line to keep taking dives? Bribery? Coercion? Needs to be investigated. It said, yep, day 2 of hearing the media say Shedeur Sanders should leave Cleveland. Yep. It said NFL commissioner got to start getting some heat also. Right. The commissioner should be fired. The commissioner of the NFL should be fired. They already booed him at the last draft. Corrupt. He's allowing, this is negligence on the commissioner's part. Negligence on Haslam's part, right? Leaving Stefanski not being fired. I guess he got to finish the job. Understand this. Saying Shedeur has to leave is protecting Stefanski so he can stay. And for him to go crying to Albert Breer, and I read it last night what Albert Breer said, how Stefanski feel like, people encroaching on his damn decision-making ability. He making football decisions, but he upset about how they evaluate talent. Stefanski is pissed because Shedeur got an opportunity. And Stefanski knew Shedeur was franchised. But he mad because Shedeur is franchised. And he put Dylan out there. And he looked like an idiot. So he mad. So he went crying to the NFL. Why? Because they in on it too. See, they already know whether Shedeur going to be there or not next year. These 4 trap games are an elimination event. What am I trying to eliminate? Shedeur from being anybody's franchise because the owners took him off the board in the draft. How can you explain trading him as a franchise of some team next year and they took him off the damn draft board and pushed him down and wanted him to be an undrafted free agent? You can't justify that. So not only is Stefanski think he doing damage control, he just a loose cannon. Haslam is doing damage control. Even with the corporate messaging and all of the imagery. Damage control, posturing. Haslam is the owner. So is the league itself. And the commissioner is just letting all of this play out. They stuck. You know why they stuck? Because Shedeur is franchised. And we now know you knew he was franchised. So you can't even justify, 1, taking him off the board in the draft. 2, calling him a 5th round pick and putting him behind Dylan. There's never any justification for abuse. Ever. Sabotage. Never. And you got 4 games left in the dead of winter. And you want to try to trap him with 12 million people watching. We already know he franchised. So let's see what you're going to do. At some point, it will behoove you to stop being ignorant. But hey, I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. It said the players do not have autonomy to speak freely. Right. Their contracts damn near demand loyalty. It said the Browns have a culture of retaliation. Facts. Facts. And if you've been watching as long as we have since the spring, retaliation runs through that joker. And so does coercion. Absolutely. Intimidation. Facts. Bribery is where we at. It said 12 has nothing to prove to people. It said Sunday told a story in his words to those who didn't already know. They told Myles that they would win. Shameful. Kevin has to go or Shedeur has to go. I think it's now. I think the fire. I think Haslam is on fire. I think Haslam is on fire and he set himself on fire. But he enhanced the flames when he was being fake with Coach Prime and let Stefanski go out there and sabotage Shedeur with the corporate messaging of inclusion, equity, and community and all of this other stuff with Shedeur on the imagery, right? We're celebrating you, but I'm letting Stefanski take you down at the same time. You can't say it's not Haslam because Haslam should have fired Stefanski right after Callahan and right before Daboll. Pick. It's Haslam. And now Stefanski's fixation on making Shedeur seem bad, which is irrational because he's proven franchise. If he keep on with the same foolishness, and it seems like he already is with the way he building the O-line, we already got a substitution at the running back. Ain't no telling what the hell gonna go on with the wide receivers this week. Everybody knows that 44 is the target by process of elimination. 86 had one job and didn't succeed and caused the penalty. The same thing. If you didn't want the same result, you would have fired Stefanski. You left Stefanski there, so now it's your time to burn. And being fake with Coach Prime proves to people that you will just posture your way through this. You don't give a damn. But the goal, the agenda is still the agenda. The agenda is still the agenda. Do they actually believe Manning can fill up their new stadium? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Because of the Manning football legacy. Yes, they do. That they absolutely believe that. It says trade Shedeur and they can have that raggedy team. Right. Minus the rookies. Yep. The hungry dogs. Right. Absolutely. It said Manning cannot fill that stadium. It said black people do not rock with them. It said black and white rock with 12. I agree, but that's what they think. That's what they think. And don't forget, there were people at the game chanting for Mendoza. So they had people at the this game, the Titans game, chanting for Mendoza, but they say even they moved off of that. Everybody knows Shedeur is better than Mendoza. Shedeur better than every quarterback coming out in 2026. They know that. It said nothing will ever change in Cleveland. They don't want black QBs, but you can't get black football players to stand up and stop trying to hurt each other for the NFL. Well, here's the thing about that. They did stand up. They did come together. Jerry Jeudy, Denzel Ward, Alex Wright, Myles Garrett. They did. They all stood up for Shedeur. What did you see happen with Jerry Jeudy after that? They got to him. They got to him. Who else they got to? Probably any player, just like the Goon Squad that got let go the next day, like KT Leviston, could be Tevin Jenkins, and the center. His job probably safe because he white, the second string center. But any player that wants to impress the team, because there's an imbalance of power here. You want to make the team. You want us to sign you again. I need you to do this. My question is, how is this being communicated? See, I'm solution oriented. I know you're cheating. I see the sabotage. I see the retaliation. I see the coercion. It's all documented. That's why the people trying to save Stefanski, y'all wasting y'all time. Y'all must be new to the party. He been telling us with his chest stuck out, he knew exactly who Shedeur is, and he didn't give a damn. So, no amount of running over to Albert Breer or to the NFL to cry because what they asked you to do is not being done. They pivoting on you is going to save him. It's too late for damage control. You can't say Shedeur is not franchised. You can't use the same play to devalue his draft stock by assassinating his character and his skill set. First you said his arm was weak. Then now you're saying it's his footwork. His footwork got him 393 yards, so you can shut the hell up. The black communities get pissed off increasingly. Keep playing. You're going to get targeted. Keep playing. It's that Browns tanking without saying, Browns are not tanking. The Browns are not tanking. They not tanking for nothing. They went 3-4 last year and had the first round pick and needed a quarterback and traded it away. They not tanking. They don't want to win with black quarterbacks. They didn't want Deshaun to be the franchise. They don't want Shedeur to be the franchise. Understand that. They're not tanking. And that's why it's been going on so long, because people don't want to be honest about what it is. And the proof is out there. They're not tanking. They have been rebuilding through the entire end racism social justice movement that has ended. And they call it something else now. They're not tanking. They had the first pick. They had a first round pick, top 3. They courted Shedeur as their franchise. They're not tanking because he is their franchise and they keep sabotaging him. They're not tanking. This is racism. This is another NFL civil rights violation, and not just against Shedeur. They're not tanking. Yes, Jim Crow. Thank you. What Julian Johnson law? Always the reminder. For the black people saying the Browns are tanking, Julian Johnson law. Black people underestimate Jim Crow and how long they will go. They've been rebuilding since 2020 and gonna rebuild for 3 more years with Shedeur on the ground. They're not tanking. It said Huntley beat the Bears this season with a worse defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Shedeur wins on Sunday. Okay. This facts. It said, I think the Titans game shows that Miles is being retaliated against. Of course he is. So that he doesn't get his sack record because he supported Shedeur. Absolutely. And that's why the look on his face was one of, y'all been playing in my face all week. Y'all talking about I'm gonna get this sack record, and then we get out here and they call a run game and I can't even get a sack. And the few opportunities I can, I'm not in the game. Myles Garrett wasn't even in the first drive of the game. And Cam threw the ball the first drive of the game. I'm a Shedeur, he's bound for greatness. Yep, somewhere. The Ice Bowl in Chicago. Yep, it might be that. It says Stefanski will be hurt before Shedeur does. It said he's going to fall in the pit. He's digging for 12. We shall see. I think Stefanski still being in Cleveland now drags Haslam into the fire. Yeah. When you start calling for DOJ investigations, when people start calling for Congress to investigate, that's Haslam. So Haslam has been dragged into the fire by Stefanski, with Stefanski. Stefanski went on the record running to Albert Breer and crying about how he, making football decisions and they don't like the way the quarterback's being investigated because he mad that Shedeur is playing. Haslam is now being dragged into the fire. 4 games left for them to show their AZZ and expose some more people and some more events. I was watching ESPN and I guess the black girl named Kmart, and she was making up types of excuses for Stefanski, right? Because who owns 10% of ESPN? The NFL. That's why you can't watch them. Who is this? It says, faithful believer. No, girl, I'm with you. I'm from the South. It said, this is buck breaking at its best. It said, it's similar to the incident in the Willie Lynch letter. You might want to scan that letter. Okay, I shall. Thank you. I'll save that one. Fire Mary Kay along with Stefanski. Thank you so much. End of days. How you doing? It said, do the feds really investigate sports points? I can see if he's gambling. Is it federal? Is what federal? Is racketeering federal? Absolutely, racketeering is federal. Racketeering, bribery, intimidation, coercion, civil rights violations, fraud, insurance fraud, injury fraud, medical fraud, all of it's federal. Absolutely. Because all corporations, which is what the NFL is, are bound by federal workplace rules and regulations. They're not in compliance at all. They have violated everything. And they have been doing this, and they do it with ease because it's not new. What's new is 12 million people looking at what's happening and calling for accountability. That's what's new. They've been doing this. That's what's new. Being exposed. People calling out for accountability. That's what's new. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back at 10:35. So you know what it is. Shedeur was franchised for the Browns. He was their long-term solution at number 2 overall. They said when Deshaun was the quarterback in 2024, they didn't have a first-round pick, so they just had to roll with Deshaun. He gets sacked 33 times through 7 games and injured. An insurance company pays his salary. That opens the door for them to go after Shedeur, the number 1 player coming out of college. They assessed him, evaluated him, a team of people for the Browns, and determined that he was the franchise quarterback. And then they traded that pick that they said they didn't have the year before. They traded that pick. And their first pick off the board was a defensive tackle that has not helped them. It should have been an O-lineman. It should have been Shedeur. And instead of, and it's okay to get Carson Schlesinger because he earned his keep. And it was okay to get Quishon Junkins. You got 2 running backs. But you needed receivers. You could have had Shedeur and Travis. You needed receivers. You could have had Shedeur and Travis. You needed receivers. Travis could have also helped you on defense as a cornerback. But you didn't want that. Just like you didn't want Shedeur to help you be victorious because you want the white players to carry home the victory. That's exactly what they did in 2023 or tried to do with Flacco. But he got injured. And instead of going back to any of those black quarterbacks, they went with a player that had not played all season long, and he lost miserably. And Stefanski still has a job. And they trying to protect him so he can have a job next year. And they still don't want Shedeur, who's proven their franchise, that they were going to get as their franchise, to be their franchise, because he's a beautifully melanated black man. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. I'll be back at 10:35. I'll see y'all tonight. Yes, we're having a watch party. I'm going to go schedule it. The game starts at 1, so it'll be scheduled for like 12:50 p.m. Give me 10 minutes to set up. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good afternoon. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports.